Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. Let's get in. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the thumbnail and the title, this is a white guy's perspective to LA County Part 2. And the reason we're doing a Part 2 is after the first video, there were several comments made about how the woods roll in Orange County Jail or San Diego County Jail. And one thing I will say is LA County Jail, as far as the woods go, is not even on the same planet. Now, I haven't been to Orange County or San Diego, but I did Riverside and San Bernardino, and there were definitely a lot more woods in those counties. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. Also, share the video. It helps the channel to grow, and become a member. That's the best way to support the channel besides, obviously watching the videos, right? So based on the latest demographics, the white population makes up approximately 13% of the LA County Jail. And I'm going to put a image up on the screen to show you that. Now, so 13 out of 100 inmates are white. Not very, it's not deep at all. The Southsiders are like 45%, and I think the blacks were 39%. Like I said, I'll put the image up and you can see what I'm talking about. So we have 13 out of 100 basically overall. Now, probably half of those are down to ride. And if I'm being completely honest, I think the small numbers affect the way a lot of people do their time in LA County Jail as white guys. You don't want to, a lot of people don't want to make waves, and, they're just rather passive. So one thing I will say is there's always exceptions to the rule when it comes to that. There are some riders in there, and but the thing is, most of these guys that are like soldiers are either going to end up in high power, which is 1750. Well, it was when I was doing time. Or I've heard that there's skinhead dorms. You typically, I think I ran across like maybe 2 or 3 skinheads the whole time I was doing time in LA County Jail. And now let me give you a kind of a breakdown of what LA County Jail is like. So you got Men's Central Jail, like the 2,000 floor, the 3,000 floor, and those are cell living. Typically, it's going to be a 4-man cell with, I want to say, about 25 cells on a block. Now, the block being Charlie Row, Denver Row, Abel Row, and Baker Row. So in 2900, which was the place that I spent the most time in Men's Central, I was on Charlie Row. So you figure about 100 inmates on this row, and sometimes there's floor sleepers, so that number fluctuates. There were 2 woods. At our peak, there were 3, and one of them got ran off because he didn't want to stand up for himself. So then you have places like 9,500 or the 9,000 floor in particular. I was in 9,500, and I think I was in 9,300 as well. Also, you have the 5,000 floor, 5,400, 5,500, 5,700, whatever it may be. I did very little time down there. On the 9,000 floor, it was parole violators, so there was a lot of good woods in there. Well,
not necessarily a lot, but enough that we're respected that, we were able to walk around with our head up high, basically. For the most part, I did that anyways, but, uh, it was a safer place for the white population at that time. Now, you also got Supermax, which is out at Wayside. Supermax and Medium North. These are both dorm housing type of situations. Medium North is a single story. Supermax is it's got a stairway and there's upstairs bunks as well as downstairs bunks. Excuse me, having trouble getting the words out. But the thing is, it's a completely different setup than a lot of these other counties. Like when I was in Riverside or San Bernardino counties, like we always had decent numbers. Like the most woods I ever seen in one place was at Supermax, and that was in 723, and there were 9 of us. And we ended up kicking it off with the Paisas. Shout out to the Paisa homies. Nothing but respect for those guys. But the thing is, a lot of people in LA County Jail, they don't tend to display the right amount of respect to the white guys, because a lot of white guys don't stand up for themselves. And that's what ended up kicking off a riot in 723. And I tell that story in LA County Jail Riot. It's a two-parter about how we kicked it off with them over a disrespect issue. And that was one place where I seen a skinhead, and then there was somebody that was he was involved in a larger group, we'll just say. I don't know if I named the group or not in that video. You can check that out, though. LA County Jail Riot Part 1 and 2. And, excuse me. So, yeah, we kicked it off because, the right people were there, basically. And we weren't going to stand for that. So, now, as a white guy, chances are you're probably going to get jumped. I tell a story about that as well. It's called Getting Jumped in LA County Jail. And I was in a holding tank and I got jumped by 4 Southsiders, 18th Street to be particular. You can check out that story as well. But, the thing is, like I said, I did time in Riverside County and I did time in San Bernardino County as well. And when I would land in a dorm in one of these counties, like we had always had decent numbers. And, they didn't segregate the skins. If you're like part of one of these big 4 organizations, then you're going to get segregated regardless. But, the regular foot soldiers would be on the lines out there. And, I don't know what the demographics are as far as those counties go, but I was in San Bernardino County on more than one occasion. The Woods were the biggest group in the dorms that I was in. So, it makes a big difference. People tend to, if I'm being honest, and this goes for all groups, when you have the numbers, you tend to walk around with your chest out a little bit more, your head a little bit higher, and you think that you're tougher, let's just say. And if you're the vast majority, if you're in a 100-man dorm and there's 3 of you, you tend to walk around on eggshells a little bit more. And like I said, this goes for all groups. If you think I'm wrong, drop a comment down below and tell me what your experiences have been. But if you're outnumbered 5-1, like, you don't want to rock the boat so much. If it's blatant disrespect, then it is what it is. And to be honest with you, once you're outnumbered more than 3-1, it really don't matter. It could be 8-1, it could be 10-1. Like, there's only so many parts of your body they can get to. You know what I mean? So, once I went on to prison, it was different. And to be honest with you, I'm thankful that I went through the LA County system, because when I was around Woods in 9500 that were seasoned, like, they laced me up. So I knew what the game was basically, and I knew basically what to do when I got there. And, there was still more stuff to learn once I did make it to prison, but the hard part was over. I was no longer outnumbered 9-1 or whatever, you know what I mean? 5-1 when it came to the racial breakdown of where I was at. Like, I'm not saying when I made it to prison, all of a sudden we had a big majority or anything. We were still a minority group as far as the number of people that were in there, but we had decent numbers. So, total game changer when it comes to that stuff. And, if you think I'm wrong when you are greatly outnumbered, that it changes the way you program, like I said, drop a comment. Some people may not appreciate that statement, but honestly, I feel it's the truth. Like I said, the thing is, if you're blatantly disrespected, then you're gonna get off basically, no matter what the deal is. For the most part. Like I said, there's always exceptions to the rule, but this was my experience with LA County Jail. And, I mean, honestly, when I would land somewhere, like especially in those 4-man cells, if there was another wood in there, like, it blew my mind, like, holy shit, here you are, type of thing. So, you know, that that's basically what it is with LA County Jail for the white population. And I don't know, maybe it's changed now. If it has, definitely drop a comment down below and let me know. Family, fitness, and freedom are the things that got me away from having to deal with these types of situations and set me free from addiction. And it can do the same for you. Just remember, if you're dealing with somebody in your life that's trying to get clean, they need all the support you can give them. So definitely support them. And, it's a very difficult thing to do. So if you're new to sobriety, congratulations, welcome. You can do this. I have faith in you. And, I hope everybody's having a great week. And don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.